Okay, let me back up. 24 hours ago, I had no idea I'd be flying on Saudia Airlines, much less getting driven around the Riyadh airport like a VIP. But the most surprising thing was Saudia's business class, which might be the most underrated airline that nobody's talking about. There are some quirks, like a pre-flight blessing, no alcohol, and ads for Saudi mega projects, but how does the food, seat, and service stack up? This is far from my normal travel experience, but I do know a thing or two about business class. Let's get into it, and I'll explain why I found out so last minute I was taking this flight. This flight was between Paris Charles de Gaulle and Riyadh's King Khalid International Airport with a flight time of 5 hours and 50 minutes, and I took the Boeing 777-300ER. Saudia actually flies a number of 777 configurations, some of which are not nearly as nice, but I was lucky enough to be on one that has a 3-class configuration for first, business, and economy. I only quickly saw the first class, but as this video from Trek Trendy shows, it's really nice first class. That is, as far as I could tell, as I quickly walked by on my way to business class to find my home for the next 6 hours, which segues perfectly into the seat itself. If you watch a lot of business class videos, you might recognize this seat. It's a BE Aerospace Super Diamond seat, which is used by American Airlines, Etihad, British Airways, Air Canada. This one doesn't have a door, but a lot of those other ones do. Since I was seated on the aisle and I didn't realize I'd be filming this until I got on the plane, let me give you a tour of the seat. The first thing I noticed about the seat was there was so much storage. To the side is this table-like area that hides not just a large, deep storage area with universal power socket, headphone jack, and 2 USB plugs, but there's also a smaller, shallow area next to it that I didn't discover for an embarrassingly long time. Above that is a literature holder. Below, there's a little cup holder for water bottles near the floor. And if all of that wasn't enough, secretly underneath the armrest is even more storage, though it was a bit too awkward size for most things. In front is this massive folding tray table, with more than enough space folded up for drinks and snacks, and plenty of space for a laptop when folded out. It wasn't hard to use, but I did get confused a few times. That's on me. Above the tray table is the large IFE screen. One complaint I heard about Saudia was that its entertainment is limited because it was missing Western movies, but that could not be further from the truth. If anything, there were more movies than many US carriers. I watched Draft Day. The in-flight map also has my favorite detail of all time. They not only drew the Neom mega project area on the map, but also added the line. Gotta love the optimism. One of the other questions about the seat is how private is it? There is a divider between the center seats that can be extended, and once out, you didn't really notice your neighbor. Moving on to the soft product, there is this beautifully designed pillow that is so evocative of Saudi hospitality without just flashing the green and the flag. The blanket is more of a quilt and was extremely warm and comfortable. So much so, I didn't test the lay flat bed because I passed out sitting up. I can confirm there is plenty of legroom though. And then here's me showing off the different items in the amenity kit. I thought it was a really beautiful bag and it had things like lip balm, moisturizing spray, toothbrush, and a bug's eye mask. But before getting into the food, let's talk about what makes Saudia so unique. As Saudi Arabia's national airline, they're not only responsible for getting tourists to the kingdom, but for shuttling pilgrims to perform Hajj at Mecca. It is undoubtedly a religious airline, and they even have a prayer section at the back of the plane. They are also dry, as in, they don't serve alcohol. For some people, that's a deal breaker, but I found their drinks not only made up for the lack of alcohol, but were a highlight of the amazing food service. Honestly, I don't have as much video of the food as I'd like, but it was a delicious lamb over rice with kibbeh and harissa. I haven't had a lot of business class meals, but truly this is the only good entree I've ever had on a plane. And to wrap it up, it was this delicious slice of chocolate cake. But it was really the combination of drinks, the mocktails, the juices that made this feel so warm, welcoming, and relaxing experience. And before I get to the service that actually served the food, I'm sure you're curious to know, why did I only get this ticket 24 hours before the flight? Well, it was paid for me by a conference that I was going to. I'll get into that more in a future video, but I had no idea this was the flight they were choosing. So, the service. Honestly, my little bit of research had said some pretty mixed things about the service, but I found them to be extremely friendly and extremely helpful, and answered any questions I had about what a drink was or what food was best. Was this luxury travel? Yeah. Will this be my normal content? Definitely not. Next time though, let me show you how I really travel and how I really explored Saudi Arabia by taking every single line on the brand new Riyadh Metro. Make sure you subscribe and catch you next week.